Okay, a very good evening and welcome to update of how the American market is doing. Of course, as by the reason of time differential, the New York Stock Exchange opened not too long ago, and it still has about 4 hours of operation for today. Unlike Nigerian Stock Exchange or London Stock Exchange, which are closing right now, have closed. New York Stock Exchange business, it's game on. So what is been happening, of course, like in every other market, there's been gainers and losers, even as the market just opened. So let's start straight away. Among those, what is happening in the market right now? Uh, right now, Big Bear Holdings is currently down. You may not have heard of the names of some of the companies which I'm going to be mentioning because they are not, some of them are not household names. Some are household names, but let me start from the ones probably which you do not know, going by how they are performing in the market. Big Bear Holdings is down by 0.65%. Big Bear Holding is one of the stocks on the New York Stock Exchange. ProShares Bitcoin. ProShares Bitcoin, there is a share that is this mainly in Bitcoin investment. So that is one edge before that is an edge where that's how you can get into Bitcoin, for instance, without getting your fingers too burnt or without exposing yourself. So into cryptocurrency. This is not saying that to go and invest in cryptocurrency. I'm only just saying this particular share, it is into that is like an ETF ProShares Bitcoin. So it is down by over 3%. That is that. Then there is also NEOS Bitcoin. It is also down by over 3%. Lithium America is one of the hottest stocks in town. Again, this is not saying go and invest in it, but Lithium America is one of the stocks of the future, is one of the shares of the future. Currently, it is down in value by over 2%. Lithium America, there was a time it ballooned, it took a quantum leap over a couple of weeks ago, but right now, the market always corrects itself. So Lithium America is currently down by over 2%. Then LTC Properties. LTC Properties is a real estate company, is currently up in value by just over 1%. Main Street Capital is down in value by just over 0%. Let me come to companies which you might know of. PayPal. PayPal at the moment, was PayPal doing? PayPal is down in value by over 0%. PayPal is down in value by over 0%. It's going for $41.93. PayPal is down in value at this moment. PayPal Holdings is down in value and it's going for over $41. It's down in value by 0.73%. Shell PLC, of course, Shell is traded on New York Stock Exchange. All these are New York Stock Exchange updates. Shell is down in value. The share price is currently going for $79, a little over $79. Is down by over just 0.5%. That is Shell. SpaceX opened this morning, or this is currently morning in New York. It's open. If you have been watching the news yesterday, SpaceX, that is the company that the IPO that was done by Elon Musk just about a week ago. SpaceX took a beating yesterday. It closed at over 15% down. but it had come up, is now up in value by over 2%, and it's going for over $157, just close to $158. So that's how the market is. Yesterday, if you watch the news, even up to this morning, SpaceX was down by over 15%. It depreciated a lot, but it has bounced back. So when a share just comes to the market within a couple of days, it goes up and down. So very surprising. It was like for over 2 days, it's been down. And yesterday, like I said, it closed over 15% down. But right now, SpaceX is up by over 2% and now selling for $157. Again, this is a share of the future. If you can get your hand on a fraction of something, or you start thinking of it, it is just a coming. Remember, in the early days of Amazon, the early days of Google, so SpaceX owned by Elon Musk, this is the early days. So those that get into the market early, but take advice. I'm not saying go into it, but just letting putting it into context. This was how Google started in those days. So SpaceX is currently at its lowest. It has bounced back. It's currently at $157 up, just trading for over $157. So if you have a stockbroker, fund manager, you can find out about SpaceX and find out whether it is something which you can invest in. Europe ETF, this is an index exchange traded fund. This is a way where you get your investment. They invest in various companies. Europe ETF, it is down in value by over 2%, selling right now, trading for over $87. That is Europe ETF. Many of you must have heard of S&P 500. S&P 500 a tracker fund that invests in the top 500 companies in the US. It is currently down at over 1%. Of course, they don't come cheap. It's trading for $677. $677. That is S&P 500. These are funds that invest in the top 500 companies in the US. So you don't go wrong when you invest in a company like this, when you have a share in a company like S&P 500, because they invest in the top 500 companies in the US. So if this company doesn't do well, that company will do well. So it is always impossible out of 500 companies for all of them to have a bad year. So if you're thinking of having investment in the US, again, speak to your stockbroker. S&P 500, these are funds that track the 500 top companies. So if you invest in it, you are almost it's like being investment proof, because they are investing in the top 500 companies in the US. So it is almost a no-brainer. But presently, just marginally down by just over 1%. It is going for $677. Of course, with contemporary shareholding, you may not have to have just one share. There are fractional shares. You can be an owner of fractional shares, like having a quarter of a plot of land or 1/8. So again, speak to your stockbroker. At a future date, we're going to have a masterclass where I'll show you how you can go into fractional shares. But presently, S&P. Then also down is US Total Stock Index. US Total Stock Index is also down marginally by just over 0%. US Total Stock Index, VTI, it is down marginally by just over 1%. Now let me get you the most famous companies which many of you might be familiar with. Let us see the top movers and the top gainers in the New York Stock Exchange. Atlantic International is up in value. Those are the top gainers, is up in value. AMC, you probably have heard of AMC Entertainment. It is down in value by over 26%. So that one is taking a beating. It is down in value by over 26%. FG Major Corporation, it is down in value by over 35%. Trinity Biotechnology Company is down in value, taking a real beating by over 30%. Wheeler Robotic, Webout Robotic, it is down in value by over 20%. AMC Entertainment, I've just mentioned that, so things go up and down in the market on a daily basis. And then also, so that is what is happening at the present time. So SpaceX, like I said, is something you should think about. If it's something you are interested in, these are the early days. Of course, it's not the only stock in the market, but it is going to be up and down for some time because the IPO, remember, it is less than 2 weeks in the market. So we're going to have a lot of price movement for that. But at the moment, the other companies are doing well. Big Bear, like I said, it is down by 0.8%, 0.6%. ProShares Bitcoin, that is a smart way because it's a tracker fund, ProShares Bitcoin. So you want to gently put your feet in cryptocurrency. You are not investing in a particular stock, but it's a collection of stock that this sort of funds they invest in. Lithium America, like I said, Lithium America, I think the US companies, they had a stake in it, so it made the price to go down, but the market has corrected itself. It's up in value by just over 2%, 2.44%. That is Lithium America. Write down the name, is a name to watch in future. Could be 6 months or 1 year from now, but write it down. Lithium America, if you haven't heard of it, is a stock, is a rookie stock to watch. Put it down. Lithium America, just like put down the name SpaceX. These are stocks which 6 months from now, 9 months from now, 1 year from now, you probably may not be able to afford them, but this is the time anybody thinking of putting their money smartly. So that's Lithium America for you, down in value. And like I said, between yesterday and today, SpaceX was down by over 15% yesterday, but right now, as I'm speaking to you, it has gone up. It has corrected itself. It's gone up by over 2%, and now it is still affordable at $157. That is SpaceX between yesterday and today, down 15% in value, and then it has come up. So that is how it is. S&P 500 Vanguard, down in value by just over 1%. S&P 500 is a fund that invests in the top 500 companies in the US, top 500 companies in the US. So it's also a good way to put your money, to start thinking if you want to be part of what is happening in the US. S&P 500 Vanguard is a sure way, something to think about. And the US Total Stock Exchange, there's another fund called the US Total Fund, also, that is also VTI Invest in the US, the entire US market. So those are funds which are like safe proof because they invest not in one company, not in the shares of one company, but in an aggregate of shares. So if one company is not doing well, another will be doing well. So write it down also. S&P 500 Vanguard is a company, those are the sort of funds you want to invest in. S&P 500, put down the name. And finally, Europe ETF FTS is also a tracker fund. It is down in value by just 0.97%. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this time for now. Thank you so much for watching. Tomorrow I'll be giving you more updates about the New York Stock Exchange. It's just getting started because of time differential, unlike Nigerian Stock Exchange that is already closed. New York Stock Exchange is just coming up, still has about 4 hours of trading. So that is how, because of time differential, New York, they're just coming up. It still has close to 4 hours to trade, unlike Nigeria Stock Exchange that is already closed. So because of time differential, New York, they're just coming to the market less than 2 hours in the market. So, but to wrap up again, Shell is down. Shell PLC is down in value by over just less than 1%. TIDA ETF down in value by just by 1.7%. S&P Vanguard 500 down in value by 1.1%. So that is how it is on the New York Stock Exchange. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.